Producer Joe here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that three lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes into new areas. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 lists on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast. Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Saturday, episode 43. We're going to talk all out 2021, as well as who had a better comeback. Was it Shawn Michaels in 2008, or is it CM Punk this year? Fellas, how are you doing today?
And we're live!
Oh, man.
We are
Sorry,
live.
guys. We'll just share one more post. You let people know that we are live, indeed.
Where's Randy Oscar, that motherfucker? I haven't seen him in weeks.
He said you owe him money, and you ain't shit, and he ain't talking to you until you pay.
I think you pissed him off not inviting him to shows. I keep trying to invite him to stuff to go with us, and you never want to bring him.
That's not what I heard. I heard you owe him money, and you ain't shit. That's what I heard, anyway.
Tyler Peters is praying for your soul, brother. Speaking of shows, All Out 2021 was last weekend, and I think, needless to say, got a big response.
Yeah.
I think it's huge. Huge.
Yeah, buzz. So not this buzz. Hey, Tom Peters in the house. Yeah, man, after that show, I think wrestling fans everywhere, we're just all on a high for a while. Just so many surprises.
Some of them are still high, Joe. Oh, what? No, stop.
Known under the influencer, Joe. Sorry. Hey,
Social under the influencer.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, man. Both of them at the end of the show. We got them both. That doesn't even count Minoru Suzuki and Ruby Soho. So,
dude, I love Adam Cole's entrance package, by the way. That Bay. I love that. The way they put it up on the big screen and the crowd can follow. It's all about the boom. Oh, I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And then the way he joined the Elite so quickly, almost like it's like you got presented him and then it was an automatic heel turn. And it was, right. I thought, great.
I thought what he did actually on Dynamite, healing on Tony Schiavone, is actually going to help more because people are going to want to cheer for Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do something big to make them not want to cheer for him. Him being a douchebag to Tony Schiavone is a good way to go about that.
Yeah, you can feel that crowd turn a little bit. You know, they weren't totally like 100% behind that.
You'll notice the Big Show didn't bring his ass out to protect Tony this time. He knows Adam Cole would have slapped his ass, baby.
There's some ass slapping going on for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm and like last night, you can tell the company is definitely already obviously trying to use these guys because like they had taped Rampage and they added in those interview segments of both Danielson and Adam Cole. So
if you think about it, each week you could get 3 good interview segments out of Cole, Punk, Danielson leading up to their matches. Yet we have an Adam Cole match coming up this Wednesday, which I thought was kind of quick, but it's good to see them getting him in the ring so quick.
Well, the fact of the matter is that other than against Kyle O'Reilly, we haven't seen him work much for the last few months. NXT held him off TV.
And we have to kind of put things in perspective here, too. Like, Bryan Danielson and CM Punk are guys that main evented Manias. I mean, Punk was...
That is a different... that's
Adam
a different
Cole
level.
never got that shot. And
that doesn't...
it doesn't mean he's not that level. And that doesn't mean that we don't think he's going to get to that level. It's just that he hasn't been presented that way. So I think with Cole, you have room to grow and have him have these awesome matches with Kazarian, Christian, Jungle Boy, and guys like that. And really,
let's be clear about where everybody stands in this. Adam Cole is not what CM Punk and Daniel Bryanson is right now. They are the immediate impact players that are going to drive ratings and do things right now. Adam Cole is what you're building this around. He's that player along with guys like Jungle Boy, Darby Allin. This is what you build your company for the future for. And right now, he is a big enough name because of what he did with NXT, where he drives some viewership, but he's that future. He's big.
Now, what matches stood out to you? Well, actually, let's start with what matches lacked for you at All Out.
You know, the cage match didn't connect with me.
Really?
I enjoyed the spots. I did. I love that the Lucha Brothers went over. But for some reason, and maybe it's just cage matches for me, the way they're filmed, they never really fully connect with me. I like the Hell in the Cell better because you have the cameraman inside the Hell in the cell. But to me, the camera angles and stuff just didn't connect with me for the tag match in the cage.
I think a cage match...
it wasn't the work rate.
The cage match works better when you got 2 bruisers, 2 big guys going up against each other, I think. These guys, if they didn't have the cage, we would have seen flips outside of the ring. I mean, as it was, when we saw the cage, we knew they were going up to the top and going off of.
The problem is when
matter of who and doing what.
Yeah, the problem is when you have the cage like that, people look even more ridiculous standing there. Because they have to stand there longer while you get to the top of the cage, or they have to be in position longer while you're getting to the top of the cage. And to me, it takes away from it. It takes away that realism that we want and the belief. That's just my opinion.
It's funny.
When you see 3 guys standing there for 20 seconds waiting for a guy to climb to the top of the cage, you start to lose a little disbelief. Because why the fuck wouldn't you just go, I'm moving out of the way?
It's a high cage.
Want Phoenix to break his ass, though.
Yeah,
it's funny though. That cage match was universally praised by several websites and podcasts. It's like the match of the night, and
I expect people to like it. I do. For me as a guy, the style of wrestling that I like, my strong style and stuff like that, it doesn't connect with me.
What was your match of the night then?
My match of the night. Ooh, that's a tough one. I know a lot.
Kojima Moxley, strong style.
That actually is probably my match of the night. They beat the living hell out of each other, and then the fact that we got Minoru Suzuki at the end of it, absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we got more of them on Wednesday, dream come true. As you know, we saw him at frickin' Bloodsport, and I've got the signed picture with him and the signed. I love the guy. That was probably my highlight of the night.
Yeah, highlight. I mean, obviously, highlight for me was I think the surprises at the end.
Well, but
in terms of match quality, I'll go tie. I enjoyed the cage.
I'm sorry. One more thing. What about the girls?
We'll get to that. I enjoyed that, but for different reasons. I thought Punk and Darby was also really good. I like the fact that they slowed it down and actually told a story. I thought they actually. And a lot of people noticed this. I didn't notice it. It was it got brought up on several things that they did a lot of Bret Hart 1, 2, 3 kid spots from a match they had on Raw years ago, and kind of paid a little homage and tribute to that match, which I thought was kind of cool. That being said, as far as the women go, I thought for a battle royal, I'm not usually a fan of these. I thought it was well structured in the sense that you got down to the two people who were most likely to win, Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. So I was like, oh, okay. Now I don't know who's going to pull this off because, I would think if Ruby wasn't going to get it, I thought it was going to be Thunder Rosa. And
I got to tell you, the Ruby Soho coming down was more of a surprise to me than the other two. It had somewhat slipped my mind that she was even in free agency, even though I had seen the video packages and stuff like that. And I was doing my best not to see any spoilers, not to see anybody. Oh, this person's in the arena. So I literally had no idea what was going to happen. And when she came out, that was one of the big pops of the night for me because I am a big Ruby Soho fan and I love her style. I love what she does in the ring. So to me, if she's going to get a real platform here, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Joe?
The championship
I wasn't
match.
crazy about the Battle Royal, honestly. Maybe it's just where it was in the show. I mean, it was good to see Ruby Soho win it, but to me, there were so many other things on the show I was about that this was.
I think it's funny that Dave
on the lower end of what
I think it's funny that Dave went to the Battle Royal because when I said the women's match, I was talking about the championship match, Statlander and Britt Baker.
That kind of didn't connect with me as much over everything that was on this card. I thought it was fine, but it didn't leave a memory.
Well, that's why I brought it up. Is I thought it was sloppy. I thought the match overall that it reminded me more of Britt Baker's work from 2 years ago than it did from her recent work. Where
Statlander is very young in the business too, so it's
and I think that's what it is. If you think about who Britt's been working with lately, she's been working with some girls that can really go, and I think it got exposed a little bit with working with a younger competitor.
Joe, what was the match besides the battle? What connected for you, Joe? What didn't connect?
Let's see. I liked Punk and Darby Allin a lot. Obviously, that was the one I was looking forward to. Kingston Miro, I thought was a great way to keep on.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
It was the promos leading up to it and the fact that they left it open to go forward. Like, I want to see Kingston win a title, based on the promos he did during the.
He's got to eventually win something. I don't care if it's a tag title. I don't care if it's a single title. He's got to have something.
Show being in New York too. That would be a good place for him to win that TNT title, maybe.
Well, the thing is, eventually you want Miro in that heavyweight title picture, that world title picture.
Those promos.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
They have great chemistry together in terms of match quality and promos. They both like to bring it on the mic and in the ring. They're no nonsense. I'm a fan of that a lot. Actually,
I like Miro's new character. I like this whole thing that he's doing. God's favorite champion.
Yeah,
this is fantastic.
I lay down for my wife in a hotel room.
Yeah, I love it. I'm hoping that they keep his wife out of AEW.
I like Eddie Kingston being like, "You stupid God! I don't know your God. I don't believe in your God."
Well, that's
and if your God sent you here, he sent me here to punish you. Like that's just great shit.
Dude, well, that's where I was going to go with this next. Is Eddie Kingston is so good on the mic. The way he responded to it is phenomenal. Exactly. I thought it was great. That's so many people would not go anywhere near saying stuff like that, but Eddie Kingston's got no fear whatsoever.
Joe,
it's awesome.
You didn't say that. What was something you didn't really care for? Was there something out there that really didn't connect with you?
The women's battle royal.
The women's battle royal was the biggest.
Oh yeah, he did say that. Yeah, sorry.
Omega Christian, I could have been more interested in it. It didn't fit to me like a main event. Like when they said it was going in the main event spot, you knew it was for a reason, but it wasn't for the hype they built up for that match.
I'll be honest with you, it was so vanilla and generic to me, that match, that it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a good match. It was I didn't even think about the match when we're talking about
the Chicago match was so much better, but I think that's because we knew Christian had a shot to win the belt there. I don't think any of us took him as a viable contender at this point.
I was about to say Christian won the belt that he was going to win. So, I mean, it's not like he's taking the AEW belt.
Right. No. And I think that's the thing. And
I read an article about Kenny Omega, and I think it was Dave Scheer who from PW Insider. He said Kenny Omega sometimes gets too comfortable. And when he gets too comfortable, he will starts doing very generic matches, even though he's a great competitor and obviously one of the great wrestlers in the world. And that match to me fell into that category of, okay, we just saw what we're going to see from Kenny. He's not pulling out the big guns tonight.
Also, I mean, it's a long show too. Maybe at that point we were feeling a little tired until, we got to the aftermath when we got woken up again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's almost like anything. If you don't feel like you have to produce, you might just coast. And oh shit, AJ's about to pop hard.
Oh, finally! God damn, where you been, Randy? Do we have to do
GD, son?
Do we have to do the show live from the farm? We can't do it next week. I'm going to be in the Bahamas.
And actually, ironically, 2 weeks from then, I will not be here because I'm going to be at Farm Aid 2021.
Is that at Randy's property?
No, that's in the Meadows Music Center is now in Hartford.
Does Randy get some of the proceeds from Farm Aid?
I mean, yeah, it trickles down to him. It's supposed to be I mean, I'll get some pamphlets.
Randy,
I'll find out where my ticket money's going.
Shout out to the farms.
Randy, you need to get some of that money. You need that Farm Aid money, brother.
Some of that cheddar. He needs some of that money you owe him, AJ. I heard you owe him money.
What?
No farms, no food. The bumper stickers.
I'm the one who keeps inviting him to stuff.
I heard it's because you. I heard you
put money in his pocket. Take money out of his pocket. Why you costing Randy money?
Are you kidding me? I believe I ordered him a T-shirt.
Where is it then?
Oh no, he bought 2 of his own, man.
He did.
He bought 2 of our T-shirts. That's how dedicated he is. But Randy, what was your match of All Out? I know he said this week that he loved the event and he couldn't wait for us to talk about it. And I mean, we've talked about it, Randy. So let's hear from you.
Where you been? Where you got, Randy? Where you at?
I think what's interesting about Miro Kingston is the way. Yeah, like AJ said, they usually wouldn't touch something like that, but the way they're talking about
Eddie
God,
runs to it.
I love it.
Miro thinks he's God's champion, and Eddie has a different view, it seems, on God, because he said it rains on everybody, like not just the unjust. So it's interesting, like viewpoints that they're bringing in, and I almost wonder how Tyler Peters, as a religious person, feels about that. Like,
Eddie has a cross.
Yeah,
I think Eddie was in God. I think it's Eddie doesn't. He's saying he doesn't believe in Miro's
He said he doesn't believe in Miro's God.
Yeah, whoever Miro's God is, recognizes you.
Miro got that dirty God.
Isn't that an almost age-old religious question about whose God is better? Not aren't we all?
Apparently, Miro's God.
Miro won.
We'll have to have Tyler Peters on to talk about
that. What about the Big Show match? How good was that, huh?
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
you know, the only thing good about that match was the placement.
Right.
I was going to say, placing it right at the end, because ain't nobody got shit to say about it. It was a good buffer match. But, AJ, part 2 of our talk today is Shawn Michaels in 2008 was gone for about 7 years. CM Punk this year is returning after about 7 years. So it got me thinking, in your opinion, who do you think had the better comeback? Shawn Michaels back then or CM Punk now?
All right, so for initial pop, I think CM Punk had the bigger reaction. In fairness, though, Shawn's initial pop, I don't think took place in San Antonio. Whereas CM Punk is from Chicago, which is the biggest freaking hotbed of wrestling that you can find.
Whoa.
And they went absolutely apeshit for him.
I would argue that is on the promoter. Like, if Vince McMahon was thinking, I would have re-debuted Shawn in San Antonio to capitalize on that pop.
Let's take a break for a second here. What is this 2008? Shawn Michaels came back in 2002. At SummerSlam. Yeah, so that would have been much because Shawn left. Oh, God. So it was WrestleMania 14, which would have been 98 when he left. So he left in 98 and came back.
Well, wasn't 2008 his return when he faced Chris Jericho and had that feud?
It might have took a few months off, but it was 4 years.
Yeah, 2008 is that Chris Jericho stuff's not in the beginning of his comeback. That's actually in the middle of his next.
That's notice of his best work. Yeah, that's one of some of his best work. But 2002 was when he came back after 4 years off.
Yeah, that's when he was wearing. That's when he was wearing like the jeans and the boots, those brown boots.
Because they had a street fight with Triple H, so the angle that got set up for that too. Now everybody knew that Shawn legit had back problems the way it was set up, and Hunter and Shawn were together. They're rolling things, and then Shawn mysteriously got beat up. Yes, and they had this stuff in like a parking lot camera, and then you got Shawn who's all beat up talking on this, and Eric Bischoff is like the general manager of Raw, and Triple H's like, we're gonna find out who did this to you, Shawn, and then he's like, yeah, and then they like basically they focused in on the camera, and Shawn's like, it was you, Hunter. And then Hunter just like takes a pause. He's like, you're damn right it was. And then, they have this like great promo back and forth, and it leads to this fight. And we don't know if what he's going to have. And Shawn pulls off a fucking hell of a match for being off 4 years.
He looked like he hadn't missed a damn thing.
And the behind the scenes thing is Ian Anderson told him back. He's like, man, go out there, do your best. He's like, you know what you're doing. It's not like riding a bicycle. He's like, but you're going to be all right. And then when he got to the back, Iron goes, all right, I guess for you it's like riding a bicycle. Never mind. So now that being said, so the question is, who had the better comeback, right? So how you want to?
It's really early to tell. I mean,
right? We got to see what Punk ends up doing. Now that being said, Punk has had more of an impact because of where he's showing up and the time he's showing up. Shawn was showing back up to a WWE that was already on fire, that was already hot, that was putting on some of the best stuff at the time.
Okay.
They got rid of, WCW at this point. So it hadn't completely tanked. So, creative-wise, they're still putting on great stuff. But Punk is back now, and he's back with a red-hot upstart promotion, and it means a lot more. Now, in terms of body of work, it's too early to tell. We'll have to see what Punk does. But, Punk,
as
far as me, like it's hard to beat that 2002 match with.
I was gonna say Punk had a good match with Darby. He didn't look horrible, but he also didn't do a lot of the stuff that Punk usually does. Yeah. Whereas Shawn came out and literally did what Shawn does and killed himself. That's
plus we believe Shawn was coming back from a career-threatening injury, legitimately when he was out. Whereas Punk, we just figured hadn't been in the ring in a long time, even though it was much longer. That's not taking anything away from Punk too. So I think the Punk thing, that Punk's comeback in that match means more because of the company and the status of what he's doing. In terms of match quality, man, it's hard to beat out HBK.
Well, it's also way too early to tell. I mean, until he faces Hook coming up, we don't really know what he's got in the tank.
A little Hook, baby. I can't wait.
So when you guys look at comebacks, it's not necessarily just the initial pop. It's almost like the body of work that comes out of that pop.
You have to, because you're going to get that emotional, oh my God, they're back pop. Like Edge just got a really good pop after being off.
Yes, he did. That was a big one.
And that was incredibly emotional. But what happened? Next thing you know, he's getting injured match after match, because his body hasn't taken the abuse in so long. So we need to see what Punk can actually take, what he can't take, where the matches are going to go, because we still haven't. Edge has given us good matches. Last night on SmackDown was a good match with Edge.
Yeah.
Now, him and Seth Rollins tore it up. But
on top of that, too, I do want to say, excuse me, a little asthma, guys. Piggybacking off of what Joe said, though, in terms of emotion. Okay, that's a different story. Punk got an emotional reaction like we really haven't seen in a long time. So if you're breaking this in by the tail of the tape, yeah, that I would give to CM Punk. I mean, you had people crying in the audience. So
well, the other thing is that people, I don't think, thought Shawn was ever coming back.
They did.
Whereas for the last 7 years, we have been sitting around going, is this when CM Punk's, every time they go near, anybody goes near Chicago, is this when Punk's coming back? Is this when Punk's coming back?
Yeah.
Well, now he's back. So it really triggered something with those fans. And I think Punk's fans are so emotional about him. He has triggered something in people that you can't put a price tag on. Same thing with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan at one point we didn't think was ever going to wrestle again. And there's something emotional, the connection with both Daniel Bryan and with CM Punk and visceral with those fans. There's something about them.
How good is it that for years it took us a while to get used to calling him Daniel Bryan?
I'm sorry.
I know.
Brian Danielson.
And now he's back
the
to
American Dragon.
I know. I'm just saying. He's so good. We got used to Daniel Bryan, and now it's like, shit, we got to get back to Brian Danielson. So.
Yeah.
I know some people struggle with that.
that connection that he has with the crowd also is so visceral, and you don't see it. You don't see it. You never saw it with Cena. People boo or cheer or whatever. You don't see it with Roman Reigns. You don't see it with other people. What is it about Bryan Danielson and CM Punk that just connects? Is it because they look like everyday people? Is it because of the amazing things that they do? There's something that just connects with them.
With Bryan, I think it's just that he's almost unabashedly him, and he's him when it hasn't worked for him. Like, look at his time in the WWE. They made an environmentalist a heel.
Yeah, I think Bryan did that
too. It was just about being vegan could be a heel, but
but Daniel Bryan owned it, and he did it so well. He was so over the top with it. It was so.
And when you see him in interviews, he's just so genuine. And I think with Punk, he's like everybody's favorite asshole. He's gonna be who he's gonna be, and when you talk to him, if you get him in the right setting, he can be honest about it and maybe admit that.
But that's the thing about both of them is they're on it, like you said, unabashedly themselves, and they come across as themselves, and I think that makes people want to cheer for them. I know something about being an unabashedable asshole sometimes, and it's some people either love it or some people hate it, but there's always a connection there because it draws something out of people.
I think as far as the question goes, it's to be determined. We'll have to see what Punk comeback means in a few years, a few months. But as far as the better comeback moment, what's funny? In terms of the match, I go HBK all day. But in terms of the moment, man, that CM Punk initial moment in Chicago, fans crying, that loud ovation.
I can't think of a moment that even comes close to that in wrestling. Period.
And you know what? There's one. And I know you would block it out of your memory, but we both know what we're talking about is when I say it. It's that day after Mania when Hulk Hogan was the heel, but they were in Canada, and the Canadian fans cheered him through the commercial break, where it was like a ridiculous response.
I thought you were going to say how emotional I got when Chris Benoit won the world title from HBK and Triple H.
No,
I remember falling to my knees and crying and thanking Jesus that this man who's a hero finally won the world title.
That's a true story, by the way.
That actually is completely true. It sounds like I'm just being an asshole about Chris Benoit, but that's actually a true story. I was so happy when he won the world title.
Now, we're at the end of the show, so what is there anything else in wrestling that appeals?
Oh, we got to talk about Brock Lesnar. Come on.
God damn. Brock Lesnar.
Dude, Brock Lesnar came back, looked like a monster.
Oh my God.
Pat McAfee was back last night too, which I think really added to the commentary. Pat McAfee with the line. He's like, Brock Lesnar looking like he ate Brock Lesnar. This is the biggest Brock Lesnar I've ever seen. As he's throwing around the Usos. The crowd's going nuts.
I am 6'3". I am 265 pounds legitimately. If Brock Lesnar comes after me, I've never ran from a man in my life. I am running from Brock Lesnar as fast as humanly possible. And guess what? I'm not getting away from him because he's fast too.
Yeah, it's like a bear. Yeah, they did well. The whole segment came off great. Basically,
I love this stuff with Paul.
Yeah, Paul, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you tell Roman that I was coming at SummerSlam? And then Roman and the Usos walk out, and then Brock's like, before you quit, accept the title match. You want to basically get a title match from Roman for Paul. And he's like, you got 5 seconds. And then he didn't wait till 5. He just picks up Paul for the F5. And then Roman makes the save. So there's all this chaos. And then he's got Roman. And now Roman goes back for another one of those Superman punches. Brock picks him up. Here come the Usos. Roman bails like a true heel. He caught Roman.
He caught a 285-pound man in midair.
I mean, he threw around the Usos like they were nothing. The guy's insane. The MSG crowd was hot for it. Crowd was hot all night. There was a great 10-man match with Nakamura.
They hadn't been back in so long.
Yeah, the Garden was on fire. Everybody loved it. It was a great moment in wrestling, honestly.
I want Big E. I want him to cash that thing in.
And Big E put up out there, too. Whether you're the almighty Bobby Lashley or you're Roman, you got what I want. I'm coming for that neck. And that's how Big E laid it down, which I thought.
What I like is he didn't even say you got what I want. He said you've got what I need.
And I'm coming for that neck.
Yeah, dude, I love it. That's I thought it was good. As much as Raw tag team whatever is the drizzling shits. Mm-hmm. thank God for SmackDown because SmackDown brought it home.
And then there was also the other segment too where you had Becky back as the heel, and
I
she
love
managed
it.
to get heel heat. She did big time Bex, and basically he started blaming the crowd, and the crowd's yelling to sign the contract, and Bianca Belair is going off. And
is it me or is she dressing more like Seth now?
Yeah, which is interesting because now Seth, at the end of what he did after he low blowed
looks
Edge
sad
in the match,
and like he did something horribly wrong.
And he sorry, this house just felt like it moved. They're cutting down a tree next door. Hopefully everything's fine.
Dave's about to show up at my front door with a little cat carrier and a bag.
So far away.
You know, Dave, he always brings that fresh pussy.
Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore?
Oh, singing a little Carole King, man. I'm wow. On later.
Come on.
Wow.
So, yeah, but I mean, Becky did a good job with the heel heat. They got people excited for that match. Belair looked like a star too, and Seth.
Yeah, the way she caught the contract, who catches the contract?
Becky
threw it from 2 feet away from her, and she literally just went boom and caught
it.
Looked
like Austin catching a beer, baby. She had all night long. So yeah, and then we get the Demon at the end, and we haven't had the Demon in years. They've kept the Demon off TV. Yo, Backley, what's going on, man? We're talking about SmackDown from last night. Talked about All Out already.
Backley, how happy were you to see Minoru Suzuki?
Oh God. I know that must have made Jake's week.
Yeah, Jake, I'm sure it was fucking.
Dude, I still got wood.
I'm actually.
It looks like going forward, he's going to be paired up with Lance Archer too.
And you know what's funny too?
Group in Japan.
We talk about Raw hasn't been as good lately. They got Monday Night Football coming back this week, and it's interesting because we were scheduled, as I was interested in RK Bro defending the tag belts against Lashley and MVP. But now we got Lashley against Orton for the heavyweight title. And I can't help but think that might be a response, not just to Monday Night Football, but all the buzz going on about AEW. That's true. They did have to cut his entrance, which everybody was about to say.
I agree.
Unfortunately, timing, being what it is, some things went long. So that sucks. I was telling Joe yesterday that there's actually a thing on Jericho's podcast. He had Mark Henry on. And it happened when Mark Henry came out, and they had to cut his interview short. And Jericho actually took the locker room to task and said, "You guys have to keep going down long. This can't happen. This is the first night here. This is how we're setting the tone for this man. He's getting a view of our company, and he has to get his time cut short." Which Mark wasn't going to say anything anyway. And then Tony Khan comes running down the concourse, I guess. And it's like, this won't happen again, or there'll be consequences. So at least they take it seriously down in AEW.
That'll get you as a trip to the Hall of Pain, baby.
So. Yeah, I thought SmackDown was great this week. I'm excited for AEW and the new version of NXT. We'll see what this is all about.
Yeah, everybody's excited for that.
Well, I mean, let's see what it is.
Especially now that Triple H has had a heart attack because he saw it.
I don't think that's what happened.
No, I think he saw the vision of what NXT is going to be, and he's like, "Fuck this!"
Tell everybody it's a genetic thing. No, I can't go on no more.
Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him I'm sorry.
More man is really in the hospital. AJ is tremendous. Randy, oh my God, get that.
I'm bringing Farming home to you, brother. Dude, I love that Osprey's also popping out about fucking Kenny Omega, talking about how. I think Osprey's better than Omega, so yeah, keep talking, Osprey.
Yeah, get yourself out there, kid. Get yourself famous. Get yourself.
Yeah, they need to open that secret door.
Maybe you get that little AEW rub, huh? With your ass in there. Don't play your cards right. Maybe you open your mouth too long. Maybe you'll be going to that NXT 2.0 door, but you won't be in the main level spot. You'll be with 2.0. We have that new enhancement role.
Now, Randy's right. AEW is on fire, and if I could say anything about Tuesday, it will be interesting. Whether it'll be good or bad, that's to be determined.
I thought Joe was going to say that Randy was right. AJ is tremendous.
We do have a
you're the star of the show. But
no,
number one contenders
3-man team
for Samoa Joe on Tuesday, and it's going to be Ciampa. It's going to be LA Knight, and
and
Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is in that as well.
Rick Steiner's son is debuting soon.
Yeah, I saw that too. That should be fun. They call him Rex Steiner. So that's pretty
Dude,
cool.
I love the fact that they kicked out those two pieces of shits.
Oh, from Pete Dunne and
The only reason they got the rub
Rich
that
Holland.
they did. The only reason they got the rub that they did, Birch and fucking what's his name? Yeah, Larkin, is because freaking what's his name got hurt.
Yeah, we had a full house Sunday here.
Yeah, sorry, Joe.
There was a lot of excitement for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I always want Randy to be there. And you guys are constantly healing on the poor guy.
How about that whole heel manager thing that got proposed this week? How much of a lead balloon would that have been if it had been in the roster?
I'm going to peel back the curtain here a little bit. I know we're talking about that, but I'm going to peel back the curtain here a little bit. I wanted to come down for All Out on Sunday. I was off. I was ready to go. I call up Dave after I get out. I call him up. I'm like, Dave, All Out. He says, I'm hanging out with a hot chick. You're screwed.
I thought you were off. How'd you call him after you got out?
No, I got out of work. I was off that night. I got out of work. I got out of work at like 3:00. I called up Dave and I said to him, Dave, I want to watch All Out. He said,
no.
You
didn't say that. You didn't say that. You just said it's all out, baby. Now, if I was supposed to read between the lines, I
didn't have time to say I wanted to watch it because before I could get anything out, you whispered, I'm with her.
Yeah, I was. Well, because I wasn't going to be with her all night, but I was in that moment. If you had just actually said, I wanted to see if you watched All Out.
I didn't have time to. You were hanging out. You were hanging up.
Like
all you got to do is say, okay. I just want to see if you're watching All Out tonight. If you're watching at Joe's or what you're doing. And I would have been like, all right, yeah, let me text you when I get off.
I didn't have time to. He just whispered on the phone.
I think, yeah, Randy knows what the big question is.
Yeah.
Not going on.
Hey!
Ooh, yeah. Will you marry me?
Oh, damn. Dave's about to get married. We're about to shut the podcast down.
Yeah.
No. We're doing that on the podcast.
We are not doing that on the podcast.
Live.
She would love the Working Fans wedding.
I'm sure.
We're going to explain to the kids the good pussy bit. It's just going to be a big embarrassing scene.
I'm sure.
We're just talking about that kitty.
All the way live.
Welcome live to the Working Fans wedding.
I feel like Cran's going to give the best man speech because Dave just can't trust a live these hooligans.
I'm going online right now.
Cran's going to mozzarella stick with Joe. They're going to be like pulling the mozzarella sticks apart.
I'm going online. I'm going online right now. I'm going to get my Justice of the Peace license so that I can do this. We're going to do the Working Fans wedding.
Eric Bischoff could have said, just as long as he doesn't give me 3 minutes. People come out and beat my ass. A bunch of Samoans come out here.
First of all, she would be thrilled if you gave her 3 minutes.
3 minutes, man. That's the best 3 minutes of your life.
That's hilarious. Dave thinks he's getting married. He doesn't realize he couldn't get away from the carny business.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, we should probably wrap this up.
I was going to say, we've been safely off the rails enough, but guys.
Later.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're going to talk about next week. The next 2 weeks are going to be a little different for us.
I will be back for the Saturday after.
I think, honestly, the next time we're together, it's going to be just after our 2-year anniversary. You know what? So
can we
maybe a 2-year anniversary surprise show?
Wait a minute. In 2 weeks, is it going to be just me and Dave?
Yes. We'll have to find somebody to.
Oh my God! That's going off the rails, baby. Maybe we'll talk about our favorite luchadors.
Maybe we'll get Josh to board on that if he's feeling.
Well, he can, but
I'm gonna run the backstage video.
Well, yeah, that's probably best. Get Josh, but I'm gonna plan shit.
Came into my life. He made me realize.
I know.
I'm the lucky one.
I'm gonna be in line at Farm Aid. Like, what are these guys doing? They just said the N-word live.
Hey, can we get Randy Oscar as a guest?
My life.
You can talk to him, man. We'll see what he's doing.
Randy, you still there?
I was the only one.
Dan Backley. You want to come on and talk about Farm Aid?
Like
all right, we're going to end on a live show commercial, and then we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Together.
You West the competition. Bring on the competition. We need some competition. Y'all ain't no competition. It's time to ball. Get shouty, time to brawl. Cause see, we about to stomp y'all from the jump ball. Me worried, not at all. Your team is gonna fall. It's an early off season.